Hey there everybody, it's Missy again. Thanks for joining me today. I'm back with a new layout for the Paige Evans design team. And this week we are showcasing the 12 by 12 paper pad from Oh My Heart. And it contains most of the papers in the collection, but the paper pad has some specialty things in it, like these awesome pre-made die cut sheets. There's several different ones. This one is, where is it? Right here. It is a punch out, kind of a cut apart sheet, and these are all pre-made, so you can use these any way you want. You could back them with pattern paper, you could use them as a stencil, you could trace through all the shapes with a pen. Look how pretty those flowers are. And there are also some specialty papers in here with extra rose gold foil on them, and so I'm going to use a couple things from this paper pad to make my layout today, and I'm going to use this paper right here. And I love this. It just, you know, if you don't have a die cutting machine, like a Cricut or a Cameo, then this is a great thing to have because you already have something cut out. It's already made for you, and all you have to do is use it like you want. So I'm going to use this as my background, and I'm going to back it with some white because I want to do a lot of color. I'm going to wind up backing some of these shapes with pattern paper, and then I'm going to do some mixed media with it as well. So when I do little open spaces like this, when I'm going to back a cut file, I tend to reach for the 6x6 paper pad because the papers are small and you don't have to cut into a big 12 by 12 paper. Because sometimes I look at a paper and I'm like, this paper is so pretty, I want to maybe use this for a background one day. And so then I don't cut into it for something like this. And then sometimes I do use it, and then sometimes, you know, it still sits there in my stash. But, so yeah, I've already cut into a lot of the 6x6 papers, and so I'm going to go through and I'm going to just back some of these. They look like little stars, shapes, but you could kind of, you know, call them whatever you want. But, so I've got some of the star shape and then some hexagons. And I'm just going to primarily back most of the star shapes on the left side of this die cut paper here, and then I'm going to leave the right side white, and it's going to be sort of a tone on tone thing, and then it's also going to make it a lot easier for me to start adding some mixed media things later. So I'm not going to make you watch me do this entire background, but I've got it done there. I just wanted a variety of colors, and these are all from the Oh My Heart 6x6 paper. Some of them are also, one of them, I think the orange one, is from the 12 by 12. Now here's my picture. Look at my child crossing her eyes. Yes, she's famous for making these goofy faces. And she was swinging at the park one day, having herself a great old time, and asked her to smile, and she did, and she crossed her eyes, and I just think it's the sweetest, funniest thing ever. So I'm going to use that picture, and I printed it in color because she's got on this really pretty yellow shirt with pink on it, and you can see some of the green in the background, and so it's going to go really, really perfectly with these papers. So I left the hexagons open on the left, and so I'm going to do some mixed media behind those on the background. So I added some gesso because I wanted to use my gelatos. I haven't used those. I guess I've used them in little bits and pieces here and there, but not a lot. And I've got several, well, more than several, okay, a lot of gelatos, and I've got lots of different colors, and I thought, you know, I need to use these. So I'm just going to do some smudging, and the gesso really makes it easy to smudge gelatos. You can still smudge on plain cardstock, but it's not going to blend as nice as if the gesso was there. So that's why I did that first. And I'm just kind of mixing and matching the pinks, the teals. Gonna make a little bit of an orangey red color here since I've got some of that orangey red paper. And this is just a mix of light pink, orange, and red gelato. And I kind of go back and forth and add this, and you know, as I go. And this is a golden yellow color. I honestly don't know what the names of all of these gelatos are. I just kind of call it what it is. Yellowy golden. I know that's not a technical term, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this down because the rest of this I'm going to do over to the right, and I'm going to do it on top of the die cut paper. And I'm going to go through with my gelato. Make sure I clean my finger off from smushing that red-orange gelato, because it would totally make this whole side red. So I'm going to cover a lot of that with the gesso there, and then I'm going to start doing some of the packaging technique, but I'm going to use my gelatos and just a little bit of water. And you're going to get the same effect as if you were using spray inks or watercolor paint. And I like to go over the area actually on the paper with the gelato, especially when I'm doing a die cut and I've got the white on white. You're really going to be able to see the shape of the die cut through the mixed media, and I just think it looks really neat, and it's going to give you some really awesome texture. And I'm just going to scribble and smudge, and you can see the shape starting to appear. It's kind of like magic. And so I'm going to do all this primarily on the right side, and then leave all the color from the papers on the left side. This is fun to do, and like I said, the gesso really makes this easy, because you could just smudge all day long and the colors are going to blend, and you're going to get that nice faded edge if you use your fingers. And I just think it looks really cool, and it's fun. And you get a different look than if you were to do the packaging technique. You can see the difference there when you use the packaging technique. You get more of a watercolor, but then when you smudge with your hand, you get more of a rich color where you really scribbled, and then it kind of fades out into a lighter color the more you smudge it. I am going to use a little bit of shimmers here for some splattering. And I love how this is looking. I love these colors. I can't stay away from these bright colors. They just make me happy. Okay, so I let everything dry, and I did a little bit of stitching around all of the hexagons with my sewing machine, and I just used white thread. I didn't want it to really stand out and take away from anything, but I just wanted to add a little bit of texture and color. No, not color, it's white. Texture and interest around the page, and so it does that. Okay, here's some of the specialty paper that is in the 12 by 12. Rose gold words, and they're just begging to be cut out. And so I thought the Hey Sugar was really cute. So I'm going to take some time and fussy cut these words out. And I'm not sure where I'm going to put them yet, but I know I'm going to use them. So I'm going to do a little bit of layering behind my picture. And this is a little sheet. It's that really pretty watercolor brushstroke paper from the 6x6 pad. And I don't want to do too much around the picture because I've got a lot going on in the background. But I did want to make it kind of stand out a little bit more. Now these are some of the wood veneer pieces from Fancy Free, and they match really nicely. And so I'm going to use that ampersand and a couple of those round, they look like buttons, but they're wood veneer. And the pink matches. I just thought they were really cute, and they kind of just reminded me of all these spring colors. And I changed my mind with the title. These are some of the Fancy Free glitter thickers, and I thought I was going to make my title say Best Face Ever. And while I love those thickers, I just felt like it was too big and too busy for that side, and it kind of covered up some of the mixed media, covered up too much of it, I think. It doesn't look bad, but it just wasn't, I wasn't loving it. So I took it off for the time being and thought I'll just kind of add some thread and do my things that I normally do when I get stuck. And that's usually when at the point in the project where I add my thread, where I'm like, what do I do next? I don't know. Well, let's bring out the thread. And so I'm just going to layer that under that ampersand. And the ampersand isn't really going to play a part in the title at all. It's just there for decoration. And this is another piece I'm going to add, that tab. It says favorite, and again it's got that yellow and pink on it, and I'm going to add that to the left. And I wind up covering up the orange star that I backed, and I really wanted it to show, but not that big a deal. I've still got that color going on, and I'm going to add more of that over to the right here in a little while. So I'm going to make sure all that's glued down because I do not want it to move. I'll never get it back where I want it, so stick it down and it's done. I'm going to overlap that little piece there. And you know, I totally forgot that the Take Me Away collection had that little sticker that said wild, and for some reason it stuck to something on accident, and it just sort of fell onto my page out of nowhere. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to use that because she's making a wild face. So there you go. Sometimes things just fall into your lap when you weren't even looking, and it winds up matching. Now I'm going to make Love Your Face my title. I changed out the Oh My Heart thickers for the Take Me Away thickers. I felt like they just matched a little bit better as far as the colors behind it. And then I'm going to combine it with the Love Your chipboard stickers from Oh My Heart. And I love how that looks. Now this I just tore out of the 12 by 12 paper pad, and you've seen this paper before. I think everybody has fussy cut these flowers out. They just beg to be cut. And I thought, you know, I'm going to use a couple of these flowers and make little clusters. And so that's what I'm going to do. I've got my little cluster over there to the right, and then I'm going to add another one over to the left. And I've got a little periwinkle one right there that I'm going to stick on top of that wood veneer tab. I just wanted more of the colors just going around the page. And, you know, I don't really, I never thought I was going to use flowers on this page, but it just sort of happened. You know, they just jump out at me every time. And that paper is just perfect for fussy cutting flowers, and they're the perfect addition to a spring page, you know, and the colors are perfect and it just works. And I love that cluster up in the right. It kind of, the leaves are kind of pointing to the title, and it just, I like the way it looks. So I'm going to glue all those down. I am going to add a little bit of thread in there before everything is completely dry. And I did add some pink thread underneath that big orange flower down on the lower left area. This is kind of one of those layouts where I just kind of tested something out as I went. Did I like it? No, change it. And so then I thought, yep, let's add some flowers. And I love mixing and matching the collections. My last several layouts have been kind of a mix and match of all three of Paige's collections, and I set out to just try to use Oh My Heart, but the other collections just sort of have the perfect pieces for what I'm doing. And I'm going to put sugar right down there at the bottom, and then I put hay right above the picture on the left. One of the last things I'm going to do is add my journaling, and I'm going to use the little journaling lines from the stamp set from Oh My Heart. And I thought I would try to make it inside this little hexagon down here at the bottom, since it was kind of open and solid white. Looked like the perfect little spot for some journaling. So I very carefully inked up the lines there and stamped those into the hexagon, and then I'm going to add a little bit of journaling. And my journaling pen kind of gave me a little bit of grief because I was writing on top of gesso, and sometimes that works and sometimes it's hard, but that's okay. You can still read it. I'm going to add my date right inside the hexagon as well, and then I'm going to add a little bit of splattering to finish it off. And I decided to go with the periwinkle color since I didn't have a lot of the periwinkle going around on the background. This is a shimmers spray called Blue Jeans, and it's the perfect match to that color. And I believe that's going to wrap it up. Yes, there is the final page. I love these colors. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. These colors are amazing. I cannot get enough of these collections. Oh, I could stare at these colors all day. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. It was a lot of fun. I highly suggest you check out the 12 by 12 paper pad from Oh My Heart, because there are a lot of things that only come in the paper pad. Those die cut sheets, lots of the extra rose gold foil, so pretty. So let me know if you guys have any questions about the products, the techniques, anything at all, and I will be happy to answer. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Have a great week.